Welcome to MixLife 56 to all you folks out there. This is our 56th episode. I'm Adam, also known as the Chemist. I'm joined by Concrete No River.
No River?
Concrete No River.
Concrete No River. I'm in the process of dropping River. Everybody cool has one name, so I want to get down to 2 syllables. Just call it Concrete.
Concrete. And it could be like change the show name to something pavement, like flexing the concrete with concrete.
I know it's not relevant to whatever, but I have wanted to do a live show called Excreting with Concrete for so long.
It just never got monetized.
Yeah, just excreting, and it has to be in, with the apostrophe with concrete.
I don't know why that never worked out for you.
I know, right? I have such good ideas.
You got to tell us about the shirt you're wearing, because I've noticed a theme where you have intriguing shirts on that you never mentioned. So what do we got today? What is your shirt of the day?
Oh, it's just a Videodrome shirt. It says "Long live the new flesh."
That's a brain on a VHS tape. Is that what we're looking at?
It's a brain on a VHS tape. It's pretty grody when it gets down to it. So I'm a big fat guy, and so my clothing options are sort of limited. So I just like big black t-shirts with interesting graphics on them, and I'm a horror nerd too, so I have a whole bunch of fairly grotesque t-shirts.
See, that's perfect.
I also like to avoid leaving the house, and so it doesn't matter if my t-shirts are horrifying.
Yeah, I think like half the people do YouTube are antisocial.
Just a whole bunch of shut-ins.
They're like, well, I'm sitting here in this closet. I think I'll become famous.
Oh, we got Mr. Burgundy in the chat. He appears to be the only one. I love Mr. Burgundy. Hello, Mr. Burgundy. You are my favorite stoner.
So what sort of mixes have you seen or been working on that you enjoy?
Oh, we got Shek Juarez 2. Here we go. What have I been working on? I have been kind of in between a lot of things, honestly. I'm kind of trying to blow out a bunch of bad ideas. I've had like 18 things kind of kicking around that sort of half worked. I'm trying to nail down about half of them so I can just get them done and move on. Been doing a lot of candy stuff lately. I don't know. I keep on like repeating myself on the same theme in different variations now, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Also been working on some really aggressive custards.
What does that mean? Is that
I can't tell if they're gross or not, but they're interesting. So I've been working on one that has cardamom and Vape Train Scotch whiskey in it.
Sounds all right. It's a little spice, little alcohol with the custard. I could see that working.
Yeah, and it's funny because I can't sub-ohm the damn thing. It's too much to sub-ohm. But I've been using it in that little Berserker mouth-to-lung RDA thing, and it's been working out pretty well. But yeah, it's almost gross, I think, which is kind of where I like my flavors to be. It's weird enough where they're almost gross, but they're kind of interesting.
That's the Concrete River standard for Mixer of the Year, folks.
Yeah, kind of gross, but not really, and it's interesting. That's what I want out of a juice.
Let's see. I tested the light rum. I like that from Vape Train, and then the noted cake batter show got me down a cake batter dip rabbit hole. So I vaped a few like that, and I just made a test for this for the mouth to lung, right? And it was like a tobacco cream butterscotchy thing. So I'm kind of testing out, is it possible for layering on like the mouth to lungs, right? Because they haven't done it yet. They've just right now in industry is pretty much one flavor for the. Yeah. That doesn't mean it can't be done, right? So that's kind of my current challenge is mouth to lung developing.
He's I don't know why I led with he there, but I was talking to Fresh a little bit yesterday about pod development because I think he's gone through some of the same thing, and I've been throwing some different stuff at pod systems to see what works. He claims that he has like a Girl Scout cookie Samoa recipe ready to go. He just needs a coconut that gets through a pod. So I'll be interested to see what he does with that because most of my attempts at anything that aren't just top notes have fallen flat on their face.
I like Inaware coconut cookie. It's like super slept on. Like I don't hear anybody talk about it, but it's really a good flavor. It's like supposed to be a macaroon. I don't know the difference between the two macaroons, right?
Yeah.
There's the French one, and there's however you spell it, but there's the coconut one that's like primarily made of coconut and egg. That's what that flavor tastes like. So
it's like Cocapedia or some. I don't know how you'd actually pronounce it, but yeah, it has a weird name, but it's their coconut cookie flavor. I still need to try that.
Yes.
So I had a literal shower thought today, and I haven't tested it out, but I'm curious to see if it works or not. So since those mouth to lung devices are lower temperature, right? Because they're not running a whole bunch of power through, that's why you're just getting top notes.
Right.
Would it help to use flavors that have a low flash point?
Yeah, because there was like Wayne saying the joules of temperature control, maybe.
Yeah.
So like these are, I don't know.
Because like when I'm trying different stuff in it, like with the citrus, like you just get the zest off the top, which is the part of that flavor that flashes off quicker. So right. I want to see if there's some benefit to looking for flavors with a lower flash point because they're gonna vaporize like a little more effectively to low temperature. Maybe sounds like a thing that could be based on reality.
Yeah, it sounds like something worth testing for sure.
And yeah. That's the one thing about all these flavors. So not every flavoring company, actually no other flavoring companies except for TPA give you like the spec list of the components, but they all have like MSDS sheets with flash points on them.
All right.
So it's pretty easy to check the flash point of a flavor.
Yeah, you're right. Because like on a lower heat, you're not going to get like the full bakery or like a cinnamon or bread, all the stuff that burns higher.
Yeah.
You know, like a 3.6 to 4 volt range, you know, like when you really get the full tobacco bakery. That's a good point. This one starts at like a 4.1 volts, and then as the battery dies, it'll roll down to like a 3.0 volt. So you're literally going like across the spectrum. And I don't know how if the other devices do that, but you could almost even create. If you were to get like, if that flashpoint idea works, right, you could tier your flavor across. So you start with things that taste better on the front. So like maybe like a cookie or bakery or tobacco type thing. And then as your vape's dying, it'll like change flavor to pick up like a fruity note or something like that. Mr. Wizard episode.
I just like, yeah, it literally came to me in the shower this morning. I was like, oh shit, I wonder if that's going to work. Because I've been I like citrus flavors quite a bit, but citrus flavors kind of have the same issue as pod systems in that you get the top notes on fresh wicks, right? So the first thing you taste when you vape a citrus flavor, you get this big burst of like citrus zest, and it's all bright and vibrant for like the first 2 hits. Wick's still completely saturated. Then like the last 2 hits or like 3 hits, you just get like warm wax. And right. So there's something about the way that those flavors are actually like atomizing out or vaporizing out. Like there's certain aroma compounds, obviously, that flash off quicker than others. So I think the trick would be finding those, and that seems like a good shorthand for looking for them.
This is your next Reddit post, isn't
it? God knows I need to do some testing. I literally thought about it a half hour ago in the shower. So, and shout out to Julia Sue for liking Cherry Hills. I'm glad you dig it.
Julia Sue is very cool because she has done a lot of in-depth reviews for the e-Juice Makers collection. So that's appreciated.
Yeah, it's very much appreciated. Not just for liking Cherry Hills because it's amazing, obviously, but also for supporting the entire endeavor and leaving feedback too. That's been really, really cool to see.
Yeah, those are selling the best. So that's our best project. Not just as a team, but even for personal best for like Copel and myself, who've been there for a couple, like almost 2 years coming up. Is the next anniversary thing. Selling the best, everything. My numbers are good. The team's numbers are good. So that was a good project, and we're very excited about doing more with chefs. That's our baby. That's who we like the most. They had our back since the beginning. So we ride with chefs. If you see Lewis at the festival, you're allowed to lick him.
Just lick him straight on the face and tell him that Concrete sent you.
Yeah, that is a active bounty right now. That is not a joke. There are people licking Carl and Lewis at this festival.
Oh God, there is?
Totally is. There's video of it if you go to chefs. And I'm like, that is not in my sphere of okayness. Like that falls right under you've assaulted me and I'm gonna slap you. Like
that is horrifying. I like it.
Get just a strange because they don't know who they are. So these guys get close because they're chef's Facebook people, right? But you don't recognize, you're not like, oh, you're this guy from, you know the name, but you don't know the face. Then all of a sudden licking. Like, there's one of Carl you gotta find. It's like Carl has no clue that shit's going on, and he's like, "Get away from me!" And the guy just gets him in the face. I cannot handle it. That's awesome.
I think if you tried that at a vape convention in the United States, you'd probably get shot by somebody. So
yeah. The overlap of gun convention people and vape convention people, it's pretty. On the Venn diagram, that's a big middle circle. Like, I'm pretty sure like half the vape shop guys are packing heat.
Apparently somebody in the chat, and Bink on the chat, is getting Botox injected in his tongue. You go for it. That sounds like a smart idea, and I'm 100% on board. MixLife endorses that fully.
That is insane. Don't do that. Vape some
obviously do that. You don't even have to go to a doctor. Just get a dented can of chicken soup.
Yeah, but like, I don't know Nabinko. Nabinko might be in like Thailand where it's like $50 right there. And he's like, hey, this might work. Don't do that, Nabinko, for your own sake.
It's endorsed by MixLife and e-Juice Makers.
You were given the tongue you have. Be proud of that tongue. Oh man. So Nick salts, that's the thing. Pour-ins, that's the other thing. What else are we seeing going on? Yo, you do not want to be a flavor company right now with a whipped cream package or Candy Kids. All that shit is going.
Thank God. Seriously. Yeah. Now we can stop like fucking hand wringing about it. Because there's the whole, well, you can do whatever you want. It's a free country, yada, yada, yada. But it's stupid. And now we don't have to argue about it because the government called it stupid. I'm not unhappy about it.
Yeah, and the way those work is they're 15-day letters, and it's basically like the slap before they punch you. Like the letter is the worst thing you can get is this warning letter, because the very next step, if you don't answer the letter and you don't answer it like insane, is they can just confiscate. So the next part is that they just confiscate your product off any shelf. So that'll be interesting to watch. Like distributors getting raided and fucking, we're here for the Candy King.
Like, seriously, it's good not to have this argument anymore. It's like, yep, you done fucked up. The government's out on your ass. Let's get over that whole candy labeling nonsense.
Now, the interesting one is the Whip It. It's a whipped cream flavor, which is probably like 10% TPA whipped cream. And that is owned by Cosmic Fog guy. So he's over here, and he's not really, the Cosmic Fog brand is arguably not, I mean, it's a kind of a cartoony thing, but it's not, they've made more like mature looking labels lately. And they've been around a long time. Like years ago, my friend was vaping that stuff, 2014 maybe. So they're a long time brand. They had that budget juice that was the whipped cream, and that one caught the FDA eye. So that puts this other brand that's Cosmic Fog at risk, because that's their little side brand. So Cosmic Fog could end up getting the wrath of the FDA just because they had this secret budget whipped cream brand. So could be interesting.
Yeah, and they're like one of the big deals, and to have their janky ass like candy brand draw the attention. Yeah, draw the attention here.
Right. And that guy's cool. I'm friends on Facebook. He's got Cosmic Fog tattooed on his chest. Like that's how committed he is to the vape brand. And
the one thing I want to know about Cosmic Fog is why they thought kryptonite was a good idea. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah. They had they were like early though. They're early brand, and they're in Walgreens. So the Walgreens here, if you go in, there's a 30 ml bottle of 2 of their flavors for like $25, $26. But all power to them on that part, because that's the Kush gig, right? Can you imagine your flavor sitting in a Walgreens? Like that's Walgreens money.
Dude, I'm all about that Walgreens money. Actually, it was funny when I was delivering ice cream, we ended up getting all those Walgreens accounts. I didn't know that many people walked into Walgreens stores. Like they're everywhere. You don't
everywhere.
Like you don't start noticing how many damn Walgreens there are until you have to start delivering all their ice cream.
Yeah, there's, my town's not a huge town, and there's probably like 15 to 20 of them here. Like there's 3 Walmarts here, and there's like 15 to 20 Walgreens. And then to match the Walgreens, there's like 15 to 20 CVS's. So like everywhere Walgreens is, CVS will go up right across the street. Like that's an asshole move to like put your pharmacy across the street of every Walgreens in America.
And if you go out to I don't know, at least on the West Coast, and I think at least all the way out to the Midwest, there's the fucking Rite Aids. I think Walgreens just bought Rite Aid, or a big chunk of Rite Aid. So we were straight up delivering. Like you'd have like a Rite Aid on one corner, you'd have a Walgreens on the other corner, and then there'd be like a CVS has just started to come out to the West Coast, and so, or at least the Northwest, and so you'd have like the CVS down like a block from that. And I'm just thinking, who's eating all of these pills? Why do these stores exist?
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good place to be, but he's in a weird place now. So like, don't do kitty labels even as a side project, because it can potentially ruin your business. So you got that Cosmic Fog over here with the Walgreens deal. They've got like big tobacco investors in some way. And then over here, you've like potentially hurt the brand because the FDA's eyes are on you. And the problem with that one is if you're looking at that product and then you look over here at the cloud icon they have, now you can be like, that's a kitty label, right? Because you can go through and say, well, you made this product that looks like whipped cream, and then you've got this other product that's got a cloud on it, where before he had the argument like, that's not cartoony, but he's got this side product that puts that at risk.
And there's the big thing about context, right? So any vape label that isn't ridiculously like boring and straight to the point is going to look enticing next to other tobacco products, because you have like the super like pharmaceutical like nicotine gum and lozenge labels, and then you have all the cigarette packs that look the same. And so you see that like any kind of graphic on a label is automatically going to stick out in that kind of display.
Yeah, like those industries are regulated for advertising, so they can't have flashy images. But if you look at the craft beers, right, it's very similar to kind of the e-juice. Like if you go to Target or you go to like Publix, whatever you go, and you look at like a full selection of craft beers like Terrapin and Lagunitas and all these different beers, they got dogs on the label, they got cartoons, sun, like, so it's weird that they're so focused on our industry but not so focused on, like, yeah, like you guys are saying, Joe Camel
did nothing wrong. I don't know, like the biggest, like, don't get me wrong, there's like bullshit all over this entire regulation thing, but the biggest like pop of my bullshit detector for all of this is the fact that they still have freaking Swedish Fish and bubblegum flavored vodka.
Right. You have Pinnacle line, which sells every flavor that we mix with. Like cotton candy is a flavor that they sell. Swedish Fish, it's there's that whole line is basically kitty flavors, and that whole line is what all like the 18 to 22-year-old college kids drink because it's $10 a bottle, right? So I don't know. It's strange. It's strange that nobody cares too much about what alcohol does, but e-cigarettes are the new epidemic,
Apparently, nicotine is all of a sudden the worst thing in the entire world. You have a bunch of nicotine fiends out there. Like, I was a teen nicotine fiend sticking up old ladies for more Juul pods.
Right? That's the message that's being pushed from like media. Like, it's crazy if you like pay attention to the vaping news. The way they went after Juul was so coordinated, where it was hitting CNN, Fox News, all these news networks, right? And then at the same time, they're putting out their letter at the same time that the American Society for Lobbyists, whether it's the Heart Association or Cancer Society, these guys are all sketchy when you dig into these associations. Like, they'll be saying like coconut oil is bad for your heart, and then when you look at the doctors that say it, they've been like canola oil lobbyists for like 10 years. Like, you have some sketchy people in these associations for health, right? And all three of these different organizations, from the government to the associations to even Juul having to put out their thing, and then you have main news just. Like, the Juul pod thing was on the cover of the Wall Street Journal, right? Like, how did this thing in 1 week became the worst product in the world?
I'm just saying, like, I've been around some grimy shit. I've never seen anybody perform a freaking B&E to pay for their nicotine habit. Just saying, it's not the biggest deal.
Right, in the terms of like the RoboCop future Detroit that we're looking at, it's not going to be e-cigarettes that cause the problems.
Ain't nobody getting sent up for sticking somebody up for nicotine money. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You're right. I don't think the kids either are even vaping. Like the kids, like I think there's some kids that are vaping, but I don't think that they're new kids. Like when you go back to your high school days, there were the kids that were going to do everything, and then there were the kids that weren't, right? Seems like there's more of the kids that, you know, don't want to do everything nowadays. Like there's the sex rates of teens, the drug usage rates of teens has all like declined in the last 20 years. So from our high school times till now, it's much more cool to be like, oh, I don't do drugs and I don't drink and I don't smoke cigarettes. I just play video games, and you're good. Like that's everyone's cool with that. But like in our day and age, cigarettes was just like the first stop on your, you know, bad decisions road.
I feel like we need to clarify. MixLife does not endorse underage vaping or children doing anything but being good little boys and girls. But you're not going to get over the fact that there is some teen market for smoking. Like it's happened. It will continue to happen. And like part of the pearl clutching and the hand wringing is, I mean, if kids are going to be smoking anyway, vaping's slightly healthier, so you can't encourage it, but at the same time, maybe don't lose your goddamn shit about it if they're not smoking cigarettes.
Right. Like if you've vaped, you know it's not like you knew cigarettes were bad. Like you're smoking cigarettes, you're hacking up a lung, you're spitting up pieces of your lung. You're like, what the fuck? This is bad. You know this is not good for you. But vaping, you don't have any of that like self-harm. I'm destroying my future with these, right? It just doesn't feel that way. It doesn't have the physical effects that you get from that. And then study after study that's not skewed by, you know, tobacco match that. Like the air study says LA air is more damaging than being in a vape shop with a bunch of vape bros blowing clouds. So like you're more likely to walk outside and damage your lungs than to be like in a vape shop. There's another thing with PG. They use PG in hospitals as a way to like catch pneumonia and like whatever the other things you can get, like rashes and stuff from hospitals, stuff like that. So they'll emit propylene glycol into the air, and it will catch the virus. And there's like studies, things like that. They were talking about the potential for vaping to like help take out viruses that are like in your lungs or in your air. So the vaping may even help that. So it might even be healthier to vape than to like not do anything down the road. You know, it'll be interesting to see. Like it might turn out vaping's like the best thing you can do for your health, and we're just ahead of the trend.
It's certainly better than fucking smoking. We can all agree on that.
Yeah, and like a year ago, that was the argument. That was what everyone was arguing. It was like, no, it's worse than smoking, right? Like that was the headline that was being pushed just a year ago, and they finally gave up that shit. They were like, all right, you know, you're right. It's less harmful. So then you start to see less harmful. You know, American Heart Association. They have this. They send out like these marching orders to the other organizations and all the doctors within the organization. And they're like, this is our position. You kind of have to have this position too. So if you're like a doctor and you're part of this association, they send out these letters that are like, this is our view on smoking. And this is how your view is too. So all the information around is not accurate as far as what's really going on. I don't know. It's an interesting market we're in. But let's talk about Germany. Like, if you guys haven't seen If you go to the, let me see, I might be able to go to, see if I can find this video. Okay, yeah, that'll work. I'm gonna share the screen. Okay, there we go. All right, go like our page if you haven't, e-juice makers. I'll get out of here. All right, so this is Germany, and this is a vape show they're having in Stuttgart, Germany. And people at the show are saying this is the most people they've ever seen at a vape convention. This is outside this vape convention, right? And they're getting them all to like vape at the same time. But look at all the people that are at this show. It's crazy.
My God.
Right? That is a ton of people. So that is that is that. But it looks like Germany is not messing around with vaping. Like that, like the little secret birdie secret is that these vape shows have been like trash lately. You know, like they're charging 25 grand in the US for these booths, and then you go and there's nobody there, right? So the vaping shows have been getting like, and then this show was like, whoa. So anyone watching from Germany, hello. Very impressive. You guys are becoming vapors at a fast rate compared to what we're up to. So that was pretty impressive.
It's just kind of cool to see. Like, I don't want to be like the dipshit who actually believes in things or whatever, but you know, vaping, it's a great way to get off cigarettes. It's cool to see that much popular buy-in. I mean, even if it is just a bunch of cloud lords hanging out together in a field, like it's cool to see that at some point maybe people won't get so weird about it.
Right, like it's the same as like the cryptocurrency stuff. Like this is internet 1997 world. Like anything goes. Half the companies won't make it. You know, the leaders of today will not be who ends up winning the market. Like those are all the realities. Like that's where we're at now. We're at the first like government trying to figure out what the hell to do with it. You know, and out of that there will come like a whole nother wave of businesses, and the market is like we're talking billions. This is a billion-dollar industry. So it'll be very interesting to see what the next 5-10 years market wise. Like Juul's getting the farthest, and that's shaking it up with the cigarette guys, because that's like the first guy to get on the shelves, in the convenience stores. So Juul's gonna go through like the hell. You don't want to be the first to market anyways, so you can let that all go through. I'm glad I'm not a Juul investor. That'd be a bad career spot to be in. But the next level of vaping, they're definitely interested. Scott Gottlieb's interested in making it like a pharmacy product, right? So that would be inconvenient to a lot of people if they did that, made it like over the counter. But then, if it has the potential to live as a vape shop concept, where it's similar to like the smoke shops with the cigars, or like the tobacco pipe shops, those have existed in like a weird gray area market for 20 or 30 years, I guess 40 or 50 nowadays. And, it's not something you want a kid to have, but they're regulated at the age level. So.
And Julia's saying that the German press is just as shitty about vaping as everywhere else, but it's still heartening to see that many people in one place who share, a passion for vaping. I mean, it's cool. I mean, granted, we're just a bunch of cloud lords, whatever the fuck, but it's a useful technology for people that want to quit smoking. And like, I will 100% stand by that. It's just good to see that people are still sticking up for it.
Yeah, the photos from inside that I saw yesterday, it's just like from one vape booth to the other on the carpet is just people. Like just every hall is full of people. And it's crazy to see that because it's usually they look like a day off, there'll be like 4 or 5 people around you. This was wild. So Germany, keep an eye on Germany if you care about that stuff. If you got a vape shop brand or you are a mixer that mixes products. Chefs is on it. They dropped that
Bees and Stitch.
Yeah. So they know there's thought going on there. They didn't just drop a German recipe for no reason.
I feel like I need to dust off my high school German so we can do some effective pandering. I'll get right on that. I remember 0 of it. I can kind of read German, and that's about it at this point. But I feel like we need to bring up the pandering effort.
Yeah, we need to put Germany on the pander board.
Because we've already got the United Kingdom because of chefs. Now we just need to expand more into the EU.
Yeah. The MixLife expansion continues. The whole e-juice makers, like if we do a summer line, it'll be like German flavored.
I took 4 years of German in high school because I wanted to do something useful instead of like Spanish, right? Because there's no way you'd need to learn Spanish on the West Coast. And even after 4 years of German, I was awful at it. So yeah, I definitely need to brush up. But shout out to Hans.
Shout out to Hans.
I just remember like random words here or there, and most of them are just the words that German borrowed from other countries, like champignon for mushrooms. Like that's the shit that I remember. Not how to do anything useful with German, but
you know enough to get in trouble.
I can kind of sort of understand what's going on if it's not written for like an actual smart person in German. That's about my level.
I just picture the scene that you're talking to a German having subtitles of just like gibberish English words, like an offensive thing, like, your mother is a large cow. Where's the bathroom?
Like I understood about 1/8 of the spoken dialogue in Downfall. Like that was my thing. Guten Morgen. There we go. My favorite German story. So I went on a high school exchange for like 3 weeks when in Germany, and I had been taking German for like 2 years at that point. I wasn't good at German by any stretch of imagination. I never got to the point where I was even remotely like kind of fluent. But I remember being in this German high school in Hanover and trying to ask the janitor where the bathroom was. And after asking like 3 times, the dude just gave up and said, just speak English. That's my favorite German memory.
Like, I speak English, bro. It's just
they all speak English better than I do anyway. So
yeah, that's the secret to, English is spoken in almost every country. So it's like it's a very good language to be fluent in because you can find your way around, even in countries where the dominant language isn't English. That's their second language. A lot of countries will teach, so you can you can survive a lot better speaking English than you can like, you know, different language and traveling a lot. So
yeah, shout out to Hanover. Yeah, I was in Hanover during the expo in 2000. That's not to date myself too much, but that's when I was there for my high school exchange. It's pretty cool.
yeah, that sounds fun. I did Amsterdam and Brussels in Belgium. Stayed at Christmas in Belgium. Made it to Amsterdam a couple times. So very cool city. Like just for the art, you know, like I took the train across the country from Brussels to Amsterdam, and they have all the tulip fields, and it's a cool thing. If you haven't been to Europe, it's a nice experience.
My favorite part of Germany was southern Germany. Just it's gorgeous down there, like down on the Rhine and stuff. And then we went to go see some of like the old school pilgrimage churches, which makes you like look at the Catholic Church in an entirely different way because it's an organization that had enough money to transport like a whole bunch of gold knickknacks all the way up a fucking mountain. I don't know. It was cool. I liked Germany. I'd love to go back at some point.
So if you're in Germany and you know someone that wants one shots or e-juice development, help Rick go back to Germany.
Okay, so Hans, no, we may have done something similar, but it was like a 3-week exchange. But I lived in Washington, so we had a bunch of students from Hanover come out to Olympia, Washington for a month. Then we went to Germany for a month. It was cool. It was like a little mini exchange.
Yeah, it was. I remember being in Belgium and like someone spray painted Israel and U.S. get out, and that spray paint was like monumental for me coming from America, where you're pretty much taught like America's the best and everyone thinks it. Being an American, that's kind of like the rhetoric they push. So to be in like another country and see this country doesn't like America, right? I was young, like I was probably like 13, 14, and to like see this message where they're like, "Get the fuck out, U.S. We don't want you here." I was like, "Oh, okay." That one graffiti helped get a better view of the world. You know, not everybody thinks America's the best. You know, it gives you a much more balanced view on the world. Graham once traveled to Tijuana.
My favorite. Sorry, I'm gonna wax poetic, but the other thing I really liked about the trip is in southern Germany, listening to people like get closer and closer to speaking Schweizerdeutsch, which is like like you imagine like northern Germans talk like very like clipped and efficient. It's like a brutal language, and then you get further south and it gets like bigger and loopier and friendlier. Like listening to the train announcements in southern Germany was absolutely hilarious. I didn't understand what the fuck they were saying, but it was awesome to listen to.
So he traveled. I'm pretty sure that's where Graham's little voice came from, was tequila in Tijuana. He used to have a high-pitched voice, and then Tijuana did it to him. Now he talks like this. We all know Graham's calling from the Circle K when he does In the Mix. Oh, man. Chris DVR dropped a lemon curd recipe for all our UK friends or people that like lemon curd. So that's exciting and out now on all the flavors. See what else. There haven't been too many recipes the team has dropped that I have seen come by. But we do have our 28 one-shots, which is a lot of recipes. Chef's flavors, you don't want to miss that. You guys can get them in 10 mils. So if you're in the U.S., you just should order from Chef's Flavors for the fun of it, because you get a really nice variety of flavors that you can't really get here. So if you're looking for you know, more life to your mixing kit, Chef's Flavors will meet that need. Especially in the U.S., you ordered everything that's good from Bull City, and you order all the good stuff from Nick River, e-cig Express. Get some European flavors. They vape good over there.
I actually just put in an order for a bunch of Chef's Choice stuff I want to mess around with, because a couple of Chef's Choice concentrates, that Cupcake World stuff, like, it's really interesting. So I'm excited to play around with that a little bit more. Koppel keeps talking up the rhubarb, and I'm a big fan of rhubarb. So I got some of the rhubarb on the way. I'm super excited.
It's nice. There's great people too. So if you're in DIY groups and you're not in the Chef's Flavors, you should join. It's almost 10,000 members, and it's really fun. So it's by far the most interactive, fun, involved community of DIY that I have come across. So it's very enjoyable, and we appreciate being a part of that. It's fun for us. Let's see what else is going on in the world of vaping. You got the flavor ban stuff. They're not going to ban all flavors, and the whole flavor survey was for Dr. Farlasenko, I don't know his name, Farlasanos, and he's going to take that and present that to them. But there was also the comment period with the FDA where you can go and comment on how flavors have affected you. You should do that if you can write legible and intelligently. Don't go over there and be like, vaping rocks. That doesn't really help anybody. But you're likely going to see some crackdown on like gummy bear flavors. They keep bringing gummy bear. If you made bubble gum, if you're making these flavors that are straight up kid candies, you're in trouble. And I don't foresee DIY getting under the radar of that. But it's worth us knowing and paying attention and helping where we can. Just so that things last longer. The market we're in lasts longer, where we can get nicotine unregulated, stuff like that. It'll probably be down the road. You got to like buy nicotine with a corporate license, like the way you buy wholesale stuff. You're gonna have to like run a corporation just to order your nicotine. I could see that.
Yeah, that's going to be a bummer. I'm just counting on the significant other getting a science job, so I have an excuse to order stuff through her if shit really pops up. But like, I don't know, as DIYers, we have a really weird relationship with the commercial juice market. But the more people getting into vaping through walking into a vape shop, picking up a bottle of juice, picking up a mod, not having to go completely in the deep end, the better for the community in general. So like we can sit here and bitch about all the Swedish fish flavors and like the lack of creativity and all that, but at the end of the day, more vapors is better for DIY.
Yeah, I mean the market's estimated. I think it's something like 10 billion right now, and then in the next 4 years, they estimate it'll be 40 billion, which is that's a big jump. That's like Facebook numbers. Like those are that's the growth you see on like some of the best markets there are. So people are using one shots in Germany, so that means chefs supplies a good amount of those. And if you don't get your stuff there, you should. But yeah, I think there's a lot of German people. I remember like a month ago they said that they'd just gotten like a huge addition of German people to the group, like out of the blue. Yeah, it's spreading. I mean, we came in when the U.S. was kind of like wore out on the industry, but the world's kind of untapped. I mean, you have countries where you still go to jail for having a mod, so that shows there's a lot of progress that's still ahead. So it's exciting to be part of it. What's going on? Any new flavors? You get any new flavors?
I need to sit down today and rip through those Silverline flavors and write out reviews. I've been clumping out my reviews a little bit more than I usually do. So hopefully I'll be able to bang out those Silverline flavors. They're okay so far. I don't think the apple snacks has lived up to the hype that I had in my mind for it.
Right.
But it could just be it needs another like couple of weeks of steeping. It's just I was talking about it a little bit on Fresh's show yesterday, so like I'm repeating myself, but it definitely has like a really hard AP note, and the apple feels a little too soft and realistic. Like it doesn't do like what I would think an Apple Jacks should taste like, but yeah, I'm still getting used to that one. The meringue's a little weird. Still trying to figure that out. I did pick up Flavor West Natural Papaya though, because it's one of the random ones that got added to Bull City flavors. And if they add a new flavor, I'll usually pick it up. And I don't know, this Flavor West Natural stuff, like a lot of it's pretty good. I've heard good things about their natural pineapple too. So been excited about some of those.
Yeah, yeah, my last order was like cake batters. That's pretty much what my focus was. I got dulce de leche, I got Flavor West, I got Capella, and then just using that with kind of custards and tobacco. So kind of just making some like dirty, creamy juice.
No, I still need to try natural spearmint too. I'm a big fan of mints. That natural spearmint is one I haven't got my hands on yet. But yeah, I'm definitely down to try more of the Flavor West natural stuff. I've actually been impressed with the stuff I've tried so far. But Flavor West cake batter dip, like I get that it has sugar syrup in it. I think I like from a personal standpoint, I think I like Flavor West cake batter dip more than Flavor West yellow cake as my own personal flavor that is terrible that nobody should be vaping that I absolutely love.
Yeah, so what I'm working on my next mix is I'm taking, it won't be public, it's just kind of the personal, but it's Copel's butter cookies recipe, which did really well as a one shot. And I just bought a ton of cookies yesterday. Like I bought 3 packs of Keebler. So we've been having a cookie party. And one of them was the butter cookie. And I was like, oh, this is good. I want to replicate this. And then, you know, knowing that Chris already made some pretty good, sold good, you know, so it did well commercially and as a recipe. So I started there. And then I'm probably going to substitute cake batter dip in there just to like dirty it up instead of the buttercream. And it's like a touch of butter, mostly capped sugar cookie, some sweetener, and all that dirty stuff. So looking forward to that. That'll be a good one. But that's what's going on in mixing. The world's a changing.
I've also been kind of going back and forth on trying to put together some more summery mixes, and I'm running into a really specific issue that you can stick a bunch of like summery light flavors together, but it just kind of tastes like a big blob of flavor. You ever kind of run into that?
Yeah, you're probably maltolling them to death because you start to mix these tropicals together, and then it just turns into like something that was what like day one the flavor's great. You're like, all right, it's good, and then it's just dead.
Like that's the thing about trying to make summery juice and stuff is like it's easy to make something that's vapable. It's hard to make something that's actually interesting. It all just like kind of mushes out after a while. So just fucking around with that. That's been a nice change of pace, kind of getting off some of the like really dark, weird stuff.
Yeah, I like Flavora tropicals for summer because they're like flavors that are good for like a one shot specifically, even because most people don't want to spend like $6 to test out the like guava because you talk about it, but like persimmon or you know all those other weird tropicals they have, the cherry moya, the guanabana, you know, you could be like $50 into the flavor just trying to like get a decent tropical, right? you don't have the Flavora line. So
yeah, and then like using something like Guanabana, you read like I like Guanabana quite a bit, but that's one of those flavors that I run that issue with. Is like for me at least because I'm uncultured. There are so many different fruit flavors in there that you start stacking stuff on top of that to try to bring out specific stuff, and it just gets really muddy.
yeah, yeah, I like Inawera Cherry Moya is like I'd say even is necessary or better than the Flavora Cherry Moya because there's body to it that you need. You don't really get that. Like the tropicals are kind of like thin that come from Flavora. Like you get the sharp tropical note, but they don't all have like fruit body to them. So
I'm still a big fan of Flavora Soursop too.
Yeah.
Like Soursop's a little slept on. It's a little bit less sweet and full than the Guanabana, but I do want to do something with Soursop here coming up pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm doing Cherry Moya pineapple thing. So that's because I got the golden pineapple. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna start here, and then I was trying to think of a pairing for it, and I thought Cherry Moya would be good. So that's kind of something I'm working on still.
I was actually really impressed with the Vape Train Sugarloaf. It's one of their pineapple flavors, and it's not like a good realistic pineapple flavor, but it's a really good like candy pineapple flavor that isn't straight battery acid like TPAs. It's definitely in that candy direction. But I've been fucking around with Sugarloaf on top of some pineapples, and I like it quite a bit.
That sounds good.
It's like super concentrates pineapple or Flavor Express pineapple. If it didn't like kind of suck and fade, it's that same sort of like general genre. Interesting stuff though. Yeah, I definitely want to work it into more mixes.
No, the stinky fruit is called a durian. The Cherry Moya is like a pina colada fruit, and it looks like a grenade. So it's like a green, ridges all over it. It looks like it's a grenade, and you cut it open, and it's like a white flesh, but it tastes like pina colada. It's got banana, pineapple, and kind of like coconut creaminess without like a heavy coconut. It's a very, very cool fruit.
It's the custard apple, or it's a variation of the custard apple, that pawpaw and that Cherry Moya and Soursop. As far as I can tell, being like from the northern United States and not actually getting access to too many tropical fruits, they're all sort of that same genus of fruit.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all same family of fruits, just a little different. With like from what I understand, the Guanabana is like, and the custard apple Soursop is like tart, a little more tart. So you get a little more tang to it. Where like the Cherry Moya is like the most mild of those. So. Best vendor, Chefs. Chefs is the best vendor. No, you can't. You don't have a best. We tried it. It's every brand has their. You know, it's like the car, like kind of like cars. You know, like where there's certain cars that are really good from each car company, but then there's also shitty cars. That's how the flavoring companies are. Is basically, you know, there'll be 10 must-have flavors from Capella, but then there's like 30 or 40 don't buy flavors from Capella. That, you know, TPA or Flavor Art might have the 10 best of those. So.
Best brand for Cherry Moya. I really do like the Flavora Guanabana for that kind of profile quite a bit. And like Adam was saying, the Inawera Cherry Moya is pretty solid staple too. Yeah. Both of those are definitely worth trying. I think if you were going to get one of the Flavora Tropicals, I'd probably get Guanabana, but Inawera Cherry Moya is definitely a must-have.
Agreed. Well, that's it, folks. This is MixLife. We made it an hour. Thank you for being with us. 56 episodes. This is what we do. We appreciate you showing up. Chef's Flavors, 28 one-shots. You can get 10 ml samples for just a couple pounds. Try the ones you like, buy the ones you love. We are all at e-cig Express, mostly, probably 10 of us, 8 or 10 of us, something like that.
Wizard Labs, we still have our line of 10 one-shots, excellent one-shots down at Wizard Labs. They sell 10 milliliters too if you're feeling hesitant. Get you a sample pack.
Yeah, so we're pretty much everywhere you buy flavors from. Bull City, we're there too. Recipe packs for most of the team. They're all exclusive recipes across the board pretty much. So if you're looking for, something you haven't tried, but you want to try a new recipe, check out the lines. They're really good. We appreciate you all for being here. And we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat station.